Now to some breaking news and other headlines for us. The man suspected of shoving a stranger onto subway tracks in Chelsea has just been charged. And Derek Waller's live for us at Bellevue Hospital on the east side with details on those charges, and the chilling video of the attack that we do want to warn our viewers is hard to watch. Derek?
Doug, good evening to you. You have that breaking news. We just got word of the charges. Kamel Hawkins is his name, 23 years old, from Brooklyn, and police charged him with second-degree attempted murder and second-degree assault. The victim, the man pushed in front of that train this afternoon in Chelsea, remains in critical but stable condition here at Bellevue. And again, that video, this was caught on camera, and this video was very disturbing.
Right at the last second, right in front of the train. Just shoved right in front of the train.
A witness describing what's happening in this horrifying video obtained by CBS News New York. You see the man in the dark-colored jacket, jeans, mask, and hood pacing. His victim there in the tan jacket, looking down at his phone. As the downtown 1 train pulls into the 18th Street station around 1:30, the 45-year-old victim is shoved underneath. It's hard to watch on TV, even more difficult to witness firsthand.
It took me a minute. It was pretty horrible. I'm okay now.
Detectives were on the platform interviewing the train conductor. The train was thankfully slowing down as it pulled into the station. The victim is alive, but sustained a skull fracture, police say, from hitting his head on the tracks. The suspect is in custody, now being questioned. Police say they have no reason to believe the victim knew his attacker or had any interaction whatsoever leading up to it. The news left riders unnerved.
Lately, there have been so many scary things happening.
It's unfortunately part of living in a city to me.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even pay attention when they're walking because they're always on the phone with their headphones. You have to be aware of your surroundings, everybody.
And Mayor Adams actually posted on social media tonight thanking the NYPD for their quick action in making an arrest, and also posting his prayer for the victim's recovery. Again, that victim, 45-year-old man, pushed in front of her train, is now in critical but stable condition here on New Year's Eve at Bellevue Hospital. Reporting live here on the east side, Derek Waller, CBS News, New York.
Terrifying video, terrifying story. Derek Waller, thank you.
I am not going to confirm any names to you as I sit here today, because I cannot do that with 100% certainty of who the individual is. What I can tell you is we do know the truck was rented in Colorado. We're able to trace that truck through the Tesla charging stations, and it arrived here in Las Vegas this morning at about 7:30 and went up and down Las Vegas Boulevard before immediately pulling into the Trump Towers. Unfortunately, there were 7 people that reported injuries during this incident. All of them still remain as minor injuries and were treated at UMC. I would like to thank the Resorts World because, as you know, we had to close down the Trump and evacuate it, as well as the Fashion Show Mall. And the Resorts World was very gracious in taking those hundreds of individuals in over there, housing them and feeding them, prior to us being able to completely clear the hotel. The hotel and fashion show are back open for business. The Trump will remain closed as we continue this lengthy investigation as we move forward. I'm gonna yield now to Chief Billy Samuels, but I'd like you to also recognize all of our exceptional elected officials that have come to support the police and the fire department and this community in remaining safe. There is no further threat to the community as I sit here today, and I just want to make sure that our community understands we believe this to be an isolated incident, and it is now over as far as the danger. So, Billy?
Thank you, Sheriff. I'm going to reiterate some of the stuff that the Sheriff has spoken upon. Engine 12 did arrive within 4 minutes of dispatch. Did extinguish the fire with assistance from the sprinkler systems, and along with that electric vehicle blanket that we use on those operations. We did encounter 7 victims, all stable. 2 of them were transported to UMC, who have since been released. They were transported by community ambulance. A total of 13 units from Clark County Fire with 26 personnel, and then 4 units and 17 personnel from Las Vegas Fire and Rescue assisted with this operation. We always do appreciate the support that we get from our hotel partners, as the sheriff was mentioning with Resorts World. RTC did lend us 10 buses so we can refuge the people that were evacuated from the Trump Tower. Community ambulance for their transportation for us, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, and Nevada Division of Emergency Management. And we do appreciate their support, so we can't do that without them. And like the sheriff said, last night was a huge success, but we are prepared for whatever comes our way. So thank you for that. And I will turn this over to Special Agent in Charge, Jeremy Schwartz.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Schwartz. I'm currently the acting special agent in charge of the FBI here in Las Vegas. The FBI is currently conducting an investigation on a vehicle explosion, as the sheriff had just showed you a little bit ago. That's being conducted through our JTTF, which is a Joint Terrorism Task Force. I want to make sure everybody understands that the task force is comprised of law enforcement officials from the entire valley here. We're not doing anything alone, and we wouldn't do anything alone without our partners making sure that we're all in lockstep. We've learned from mistakes in the past, and we're not going to do that again. We have a great relationship with our law enforcement partners, and we're going to continue to do so. As of right now, our number one goal is to ensure that we have the proper identification of the subject involved in this incident. Following that, our second objective is to determine whether this was an act of terrorism or not. I know everybody's interested in that word and trying to see if we can say, hey, this is a terrorist attack. That is our goal, and that's what we're trying to do. We have a ton of resources dedicated to this right now, and again, we're doing it with our partners. We're doing it together, jointly, and we'll continue to do so until we figure out exactly what's going on. I think most importantly, as the sheriff already mentioned, we believe this is an isolated incident. We do not believe that there's a bunch of folks out there supporting this or helping this, and we don't believe that there's any other danger to the community right now. But again, over the next few hours and days, we will continue to do our best to research as much as we can and get to the bottom of this, and we won't stop until we're 100% certain as to what happened and why. Thank you.
New Orleans famed Bourbon Street, now a crime scene as the FBI investigates what they're calling a terror attack on New Year's Day. Federal officials identifying the suspect as 42-year-old Shamsud-Din Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas and an Army veteran.
He also served in the Army Reserve until a few years ago. The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill.
Police say he rammed a rented pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street just after 3 a.m., driving 3 blocks before crashing, then getting out and firing at police with an assault rifle. Officials say 2 officers were hurt before police shot and killed the suspect. Witnesses describe the scene as gruesome.
What we saw was insanity. I mean, something out of a movie. The graphic nature of it, and it was unbelievable.
Investigators say they found an ISIS flag, weapons, and improvised explosive devices inside the truck. They're now working to determine whether he had any affiliations with terrorist organizations. The FBI says they also discovered more IEDs planted around the area in the historic French Quarter, some of which were deemed viable, according to sources. Officials also questioned about whether barricades were up along Bourbon Street.
This particular terrorist drove around onto the sidewalk and got around the hard target, where he did have a car there, we had barriers there, we had officers there, and they still got around.
Leading up to the holidays, federal law enforcement agencies had been warning local police around the country that vehicle ramming was a top area of concern and to be prepared for these kinds of incidents. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, New Orleans.
Tonight, Siouxland lawmakers continue to react to those attacks in New Orleans. Iowa Representative Randy Feenstra releasing a statement on X saying in part, quote, "Our country mourns the tragic loss of life in New Orleans at the hands of pure evil. This despicable attack on the innocent must be thoroughly investigated." Nebraska Representative Adrian Smith saying in a statement in part, "Americans cannot be intimidated by terror, and those who commit evil acts will always face justice." South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds adding to the conversation in the statement on X, saying in part, "The senseless violence in New Orleans has saddened us all. Please keep all of those impacted by this tragedy in your thoughts and prayers."
Street moments before, just moments before we were on that street, and that could have been us.
Tonight on 12 News at 6, we begin with breaking developments in a New Orleans terrorist attack. A heartbreaking story. 10 people were killed when a suspect plowed his truck into crowds on Bourbon Street during New Year's celebrations, and at least 35 others were injured. NBC News is reporting that the suspect is Shamsud-Din Jabbar, an Army veteran. And tonight, 12 News is learning that he's from Beaumont. Jabbar does have a criminal history, albeit not an extensive one. In 2002, he was arrested in Katy for theft. He pleaded guilty and got probation. And in 2005, he was arrested in Beaumont for driving without a license. Jabbar graduated from Central High School in 2001. And coming up, we're hearing from one of his former classmates. But first, here are the 3 things you need to know about the Bourbon Street attack. Jabbar was killed by police after he shot 2 responding officers. Investigators say an Islamic State group flag was found in his rented truck. Possible explosives were found in the French Quarter area. And right now, investigators have shut down the road leading to a home in southwest Houston. Officials say the house belonged to Jabbar. A perimeter has been set up around the house, and authorities say the FBI and specialized teams would be on site for several hours. And we're going to go and take a look at the route Jabbar took. He entered from Canal Street just before crashing near Conti Street. And NBC's Dan Sheneman has a breakdown of what we know about the attack.
Early morning, Bourbon Street filled with revelers celebrating the new year. When it began,
the guy in the pickup truck just punched the gas and mowed over the barricade.
Once past the barricade, investigators say the driver intentionally plowed through pedestrians.
After hitting the crowd, he exited the vehicle and fired upon local law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle.
Investigators found weapons and explosives in the truck.
Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter. As of now, 2 IEDs have been found and rendered safe.
The FBI has named the suspect.
42-year-old Shamsud-Din Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to be rented.
Investigators do not believe he acted alone.
It was chaos and very, very scary.
A frightening and sad start to the new year. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
12 News has found video of Jabbar promoting himself, and it's a video our viewers have also been sending in. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military.
Later in the video, Jabbar says he worked in human resources and IT in the Army. He goes on to try and convince viewers that he will get them the best possible deal on a new home.